Hi, my name is Joel Carty and I play the roles of Stuart in Baby Alarm and Financial Expert in Blame. Today we got our first read-throughs of the scripts with the characters we would be playing, and they're two very different characters in my aspect. Stuart is the killer and a predominantly voice role that's very intense, both on screen and through his voice in the Baby Alarm, whereas Financial Expert is a very expositional character, and a lot of what he says is for the benefit of the audience so they can understand their financial crash that is taking place in this film, and therefore the outlook of a lot of the characters in this film. Through this script reading I got a chance to get my first ideas of the characters. So for example, in Stuart, I get the idea he was a very psychotic character. Some of the things he does, such as putting a cigarette out on his baby, they're not just things that someone who's a new parent who's just pushed to the edge would do. There's some kind of something else with him. Makes me feel he's very psychotic, makes me think he's not necessarily right in the head. Whereas with Financial Expert, I looked at him and he's very much all there. He knows what he's doing, he's very good at what he does, and he is quite a cocky character. What he's doing isn't so much he's worrying people by saying there's a crash. He's called out as fear-mongering, but he puts it as a warning. He's telling people this is going to happen, it's happened before, and it's going to happen again. But he's one of those characters who's been there, done it, got the t-shirt sort of thing. Today I was thinking about costumes for characters, so I was thinking about Financial Expert and Stuart. Financial Expert was pretty easy. He's in the full Monty, the suit, the tie, the shirt, the trousers, everything. Appearing on the news, a couple of different suits for the different days he's appearing on the news, but generally a very business look, a very neat and tidy look for him. Even had my hair pushed up a little bit for the character to give him just that little bit of style that makes him him. As for Stuart, I originally considered doing a shirt tie and trousers combo to do with his work. The idea he worked in office as he was a new parent and a fairly young person, but able to afford a home, so he had to have a decently paying job. So the idea is he was in office work of some kind. So I went for that. Then I thought, he's not really completely involved in what he's doing. He's not as into it as his wife is. So I was like, I'm gonna scratch the tie and the trousers and just go with jeans with a shirt to make it look like he's tried to put effort in, but he really doesn't care about what's going on, and during this house viewing he's just there because he has to be rather than he wants to be. Alright, today I got my first chance of playing Stuart, mainly voice today, in fact entirely voice, and we were filming the scenes on location in the room to be played over Baby Alarms later in the film for Mel and Ash and Jude, and this was a great chance to let loose with what I was originally trying with the character. A sense of, you've now got him losing his mind, getting more and more angry as the crying goes on, starting off very just in the face of the baby, constantly telling it to shut up, also swearing at his child, calling it a little bastard, and a chance for this show this psychopath for what he really is. Most important thing being that he really doesn't care about well, any form of safety for the child. It was a chance to let loose and go as far as I wanted to with the character, acting opposite the actress playing Leslie, and able to really get my teeth in to it. So I went forward to it and let the response of her be more genuine by the absolute ferocity of my role. Very importantly, making sure that I was building up the anger within the character up to the climax of when he stabs Leslie, killing her, and just letting it happen, watching her bleed out in front of him. Obviously in the film that's not seen, but it is great for both the acting of, well, both Stuart and Leslie, but also the idea of what people are imagining. You know, you don't hear Stuart leaving, you just know he's stabbed this woman and he's just there. He's just watching, not caring that she's bleeding out, not caring that this is his wife, that this is a person he's married, chosen to spend the rest of his life with. He just doesn't care at all. In terms of the final quality of the acting, I felt like I offered everything I could to both roles, made sure that I understood what I was going for in both characters, having a look at, well, in terms of fan interest, but other people in that field, other people could base my character off in terms of Stuart, what it's like to be a new parent, what it's like to have a baby that doesn't really shut up and is crying constantly, and how you deal with that as a parent. Obviously knowing that most parents I could speak to would deal with it far better than Stuart ever would, but to get a first idea of what the sort of paranoia of a constantly screaming baby is like, and what it feels like to have a lack of sleep, and how the sleep deprivation really affects you as a parent, as a person. So overall I was very happy with my my additions to the films, and feel like I can look at the final product when it is eventually shown and go, I couldn't have done much better there. I've done as well as I can. And I feel like I've added to the films in the two, well, in one very small but vital role, and in one massive role in terms of plot, in terms of driving the story. And I feel like I can look at those at the end of the day and go, those films have benefited from my performances, and it's not just a case of I'm there to be there, I'm there because I need to be there, because I've added something. Generally I feel like the work we did on sound was good, the quality was good, and it was as professional as we could make it. And it was definitely a learning process, because you were learning about positioning of the boom to get the best quality sound, positioning of yourself so you're not getting in the way of the camera but still getting the boom in the best possible place, and your attention to detail, which is highly vital in the filming world, because if you can't put sound to picture, you don't really have a film that you went out to film. So it was really important to get every aspect working well, and I feel like I offered the best I could in that, and was at a fairly professional standard for the majority of the filming process.